Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Sharifa and my music name is New Lily. If you're new to my channel, please check out my How I Became a Targeted Individual summary and or full story. In the summary, I just give basically the gist of what started my targeting, and I kind of negate the backdrop story. And when I say the backdrop story, I'm talking about the things that preceded my targeting because I've been through a spiritual battle since my early 20s. So I briefly mentioned some of those things in my summary, but for the most part, I leave that stuff out and I just talk about what started my targeting. In the full story, I include all of the vivid details, all the way back to my early 20s. And it's a long, long video too. And the reason being is because it's different videos that I compiled into one. So that's why for the full story, you'll see almost like 12 hours worth of content because it's not meant to be watched in one sitting. As a matter of fact, let me go over there right now to my YouTube. And guys, I have a bunch of information on my page for targets, information about the technology that is used in this program and also information about the program. So not only am I documenting my life story and the things that I've been through in this program, but I am also sharing information that I've learned and also new things that I learn as I learn. So please do check out my other videos, not just my story, but these are my videos here. The summary, it might look like I'm on camera, but that thumbnail is actually a screenshot from a video that got deleted. Actually, as a matter of fact, if you're new to my channel, please check out my update video because in that video, I briefly talk about the videos that I had posted before that got deleted. At the moment, I don't have access to the computer I used to use. And the computer that I now use has a poor camera quality, as you can see from the full story. The full story, I'm actually on camera. The summary, that's actually, like I said, a screenshot from a video that I had created with the old computer that got confiscated that was now deleted. So I no longer have those videos that I posted from that old computer. I am trying to get access to that computer. I'm kind of trying to reason with the person that took it from me so that I can at least re-upload my anti-nano bucket video. There's a video where I displayed the anti-nano bucket that I created, and I talk about the nanobots that's injected into targets via the mosquito drones. And I talk about how you can cleanse it out of the body, not only with the bucket, but with different things like protease enzymes or vegetables that have allium in them, such as onions or garlic, or even kaolin clay. The kaolin clay has a remedial effect against a nano because it creates an ionizing positive charge when consumed. Kaolin clay is different to bentonite clay and charcoal because both of those binders, when you take them, they have a negative charge. So they don't pull the nano out. Because unlike regular heavy metals, nano is a quasi metal and has a positive charge. Has a negative charge. So it's negatively charged, and most binders are negatively charged. So you can't take bentonite clay or charcoal to pull it out. You have to take, or even chlorella, typical binders, most binders have a negative charge because most toxins and most heavy metals are positively charged. But the nano is a quasi-metal. It's made up of carbon and graphene, and it's negatively charged. So the kaolin clay is essential because it creates an ionizing positive charge when consumed. So that's why it has a remedial effect against the nano. The only problem with kaolin clay is its structure is different to bentonite clay. Bentonite clay has better adsorption and absorption properties because it's porous. The kaolin clay, the structure, if you look at it under a microscope, is like tightly condensed flakes. So it doesn't have good adsorption or absorption properties. So when you take kaolin clay, it's good to mix it with things like, maybe like a fat, like coconut oil, or milk or something like that. Usually I would take it with some milk, and that can help with the absorption. But that's the video. I have a video where I talked about all that stuff. And I'm actually on camera. I created it, like I said, with that computer that got confiscated. So I'm really trying to reason with that person to get that computer, so I can at least re-upload that video, if nothing else. But regardless whether or not I get to re-upload that video or not, if I'm not able to get access to it, I will create another video talking about that stuff. I just feel kind of drained, guys, because it's like there's a lot of talking when it comes to that stuff. And I sat there and I created several videos where I was given the information and they got deleted. But anyways, I went off on a tangent. So I went off on a tangent. So, anyways, like I was saying, the summary, I'm not on camera. That's what I was trying to say, because I went and started talking about a bunch of different stuff. The summary, that's just a thumbnail. Like I said, it's a screenshot from a video that got deleted. The full story, I'm actually on camera. And as you can see, the quality of the camera is quite different to the thumbnail of my summary, right? It's a different camera quality. Oh, this is the message I was telling you about. Perfect. In the last video, this is part 2 to my Asperger/music connection video. Remember I told you there was a message from Mob G South King on my BandLab from all the way back in 2019 when I was making music, and I never answered him. And then I only answered him recently when I started making music again. And I told you I didn't want to sign into my BandLab on camera. But I told you if you check out I said full story in the video, but in the comment section, you can see I corrected myself and said that it's in the summary. This is the message I was talking about. You can see clearly it says 2019 when he wrote me. And I only now answered him in 2023. So that's to tell you I wasn't taking the music thing seriously back then. And I had some, influential individuals reaching out to me. This guy is not super, super, popular, but he has 8K, 8,000 followers on BandLab, 40,000 plays. Like I said, I had somebody named Cool People reaching out. He was like a local, you could almost say celebrity in South Florida, not like necessarily a celebrity, but a well-known artist down there. He had 100,000 followers on Instagram. So these are the type of people that was reaching out to me back then, and I was not taking it seriously at all. Let me just continue to play this part real quickly. This is kind of like off kilter from what I was just showing you, but and then the stupid thing I did with my hand, you need to check out my new allegations video. They tried to tie it into my music when really it was just me being antagonized and responding in kind. I had a weird dream too, thought manipulation, just weird stuff. I'm not going to go into the details of it in this video because I'm starting to ramble and I do not want the summary to be too long. So what I'm talking about there, guys, and I'm sure if you're familiar with my videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. Basically, like I told you all, they kind of started doing noise campaigns with my music and tried to imply that my music seems ominous these days. And so this is why I'm going so ham and proving that not only have I been doing the music thing for years, but also the fact that if I were trying to do anything, as in like something spiritually negative, because this is basically what they tried to play it as. If you listen to let me show you the video I want you to listen to next. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to sit here and play that. I don't want this video to be too long. But check out this video that says, artificial telepathy as the thumbnail, and you can see in all caps I said patent for synthetic telepathy. In that video I discussed that thing that I did with my hand because basically I got really mad. This was months ago. I remember I was actually still trying to program. I wasn't even focused on music, wasn't thinking about music, hadn't even started doing music again. I was actually trying to become a programmer. And actually check out this video that says repost my journey as a junior developer. That's what I was trying to do. And I was teaching myself JavaScript, HTML, CSS, all of those different coding languages. I was actually more so focused on the front end than the back end because I noticed with back end coding, it seems to have more of a mathematical element to it. The data structures and stuff seem to be more reminiscent of math, and I'm not good at math. So this is why I was focused on front end. But nonetheless, this is what I was doing, all day long, like creating a portfolio and stuff. Please check out my portfolio. You can see how hard I worked. And then go down to the contact section and check out my LinkedIn. I even had a Fiverr around that time. I was creating a writing business. I called it Right Source Solution, and I spelled it right, WRITE, instead of right, like the real right, as like wordplay, because those words are homophones. And I'm going to be writing for you. So I was doing wordplay. I had created, like PowerPoints on Canva. I really put my Fiverr together as well as my LinkedIn. And they just kept shutting stuff down. Like my Fiverr, they shut stuff down. Like they literally started to like block up stuff in my Fiverr. I remember I actually like took my time and I created my Fiverr. Created, like I said, this whole freaking different I'm sorry, I heard noise campaign in the background. You know what's frustrating with this program, guys? This is why I go so hard in these videos, to prove myself. And really, my sister is right. I don't need to prove myself to anyone but the Most High. But literally, what happens with this program where your life is suspended, this is where you feel like you have to validate and prove yourself, because literally you have people that are committing illegal covert harassment. So this is where you feel like you have to prove yourself to people, because it's so unfair what they do to you in this program, how they suspend your life and you haven't done a thing. So this is why I go so hard in my videos. But anyways, like I was saying, so back then I was really working hard on trying to salvage my life despite the sabotage. So this is what I was doing. I was creating a portfolio and things of that nature. That was my focus all day long, coding. Literally, as soon as my eyes open, I get some coffee. And I can't even really drink coffee like that because it messes with me. Again, Asperger's. But I like to drink like tea, you know? So I would drink like some turmeric tea and put like a little dash of coffee in it. Get up super early, you know, and start coding all the way until nighttime, creating all these different accounts, Fiverr, like I said, LinkedIn. Check out my LinkedIn. I hooked it up. You know, you can see I was advertising my services on my LinkedIn as well. And this is what I was focusing at that time, trying to work inside the house, trying to work from home. I wasn't thinking about music. I hadn't started doing my music yet when I did that weird thing with my hand. I was literally just angry, and I think it was mind control now that I know how the technology works. You know, the Most High keeps revealing more and more to me and showing me how I can defend myself, and I'm so grateful. But literally, what was happening around that time is just like, again, the covert harassment, noise campaigns, you know, taking the car in every minute, you know, just different weird stuff going on in that time, antagonizing, covert surveillance. And I was just like, oh my God, like there's so much is already happening. I didn't do anything. I'm still trying to be productive. I'm sitting in here in the house now, trying to salvage my life basically and still be productive despite the sabotage and what's happening. And it felt like more sabotage, more covert harassment. Like the more I tried to be productive, the more like it felt like the harassment would amp up. And so then I remember around that time, they also started sending death threats to my pool game. You know, not straight up death threats like, you're going to die, not like that. But like playing against me with avatars that would have pictures alluding to death. Like, for instance, I told y'all about this in my prior videos, the Black Death Bow, or the Rest in Peace Dove, you know, or a mask, you know, someone wearing a mask and then underneath the name would be T, you know, trying to hint to me that my T cells are sick. You know, the nanobots destroy the DNA, right? If they wanted to, they can control the nano. They can make it do whatever they want it to do in your body. You know, they can also use it to reverse aging. It's so creepy. It's like really fallen angel technology. It's blasphemy. But this nanobot technology can do a lot. So I remember at this time, you know, I had the nano in my body at this time. It wasn't amped up, but it was in there. And they started sending me these death stuff to my pool game on top of everything else that was happening. And so I remember one night I got so livid and angry. I mean, remember, again, this was post coming back from the States where my targeting had went viral and I was antagonized, brutally harassed, brutally stalked on the road, right? Reactive abuse, right? So I reacted and I shared all this offensive content in my car. And of course, they honed in on that nasty reaction instead of honing in on what caused the reaction, right? So then I get home, like I said, and I'm still trying to be productive and salvage what I can of my life. I should be out teaching a young woman at my age, living a normal life, but instead can't do that because of what's happening. So, and when I say can't, you know what I mean by can't. It's not like they physically shackle you. You could go out and try to do it, but you'll be harassed and feel extremely uncomfortable. And actually, sometimes you might not even get the job, you know, because of what's happening. It just depends. But anyway, so I was trying to work from the house. And like I said, I was just focusing on tech and stuff, and just the harassment amping up the more I worked on the tech. And so it got to the point where they were sending basically you could say sending death threats to my pool game. And so I remember one night when they did that, I said, man, they're so wicked. I said, they done all so much to me already. I would never wish death on them. This is why I said, I can't believe they're wishing death on me. And then I threw my hand up in that symbol, in the mark of the beast symbol. I threw my hand up in that symbol. Can't explain why I did it. You know, I've been very forthcoming in my videos and honest about the fact that I can't explain why I did it. I don't know why I did it. I could tell you I was pissed. I was seething. I was so angry. And I do remember about a month or two prior, you know, now that I'm learning about dream manipulation, this is why I'm saying I believe it was mind control. I had this weird dream, and I think the most I told my mom about it. Literally, I woke up, and I was not woke up. I'm sorry. I was sleeping, and I was floating over this naked man, and he was doing that symbol with his hand. You know, this is so weird to talk about. I don't even like talking about this stuff, but I'm just keeping it real with y'all what happened. And then him and I, you know, started to do whatever in the dream. It was a very weird dream. And then I woke up and my ear was ringing. My right ear was ringing. And later down, when I started learning about this technology, I realized that it makes your ear ring. So I know it was them. I know that dream was them. And then a couple months later, they're antagonizing me nonstop when I'm just trying to be productive. And I randomly threw my hand up in that symbol. Look at my MK Ultra mind control video. You'll see me showing you a video from DARPA where they're talking about the mind control technology. And they're showing the guy controlling the technology with his brain. And the technology in that video did that same symbol with its hand. It's something with that symbol and this technology. Then there's also this guy, this target, that was also explaining the technology. In that same video, I shared a clip from him. And he also, as he explained the technology, he said mind control, he did that symbol with his hand. So there's something to this program, that symbology, and this technology. So I stick to the fact that I believe it was mind control. And the antagonization allowed it to work. Because from what I've seen from different videos, this technology works better when you're under duress. So this is what I've come to the conclusion of recently. The Most High revealed it to me, and I'm so grateful. But that was what they tried to basically use to try to tie into my music. When I did it, I wasn't even doing the music. I was doing the tech at that time. I was working on my portfolio at that time. So that's what I think is so hilarious about it all. So yeah, they tried to tie that in and, make it like my music is ominous. And of course it does have somewhat, I don't even want to say like a dark aura to it, but it does have sort of like a sad aura to it because it's representative of my feelings right now with what I'm dealing with in this program. That's what writing and music is about. You're expressing how you feel. So it's representative of how I feel right now. But it's not anything bad. I even had this poetry breakdown series. Those got deleted as well. I don't know why, because I could understand the last two videos. I did kind of mention some personal stuff. But the first 7 poetry breakdown series videos, I was literally just breaking down the poetry and the meaning to my poetry because I was doing noise campaign and getting like this weird warped perception of my music. So I felt the need to break down what the lyrics meant. And so that's why I did that. So it's not to say that my music is dark or ominous. It actually usually has a good meaning and it's usually pertaining to what I'm dealing with in this program. But it does, some of my music have somewhat of like a sad, I would say, sound to it. I wouldn't even say my newer music. I actually tried to change things up because of the warped reception that I was receiving. Even though I wasn't doing it for them, I'm doing it for myself. But regardless, I did try to change up, a little bit recently. I didn't mean to sit here going through that, guys, but when I heard that part of the video that I was playing for you with Mob G South King, I felt the need to kind of break that down again, even though I've talked about it in numerous videos. But also with the Mob G South King thing, again, that's just more proof that if I were trying to pop or do something to pop, I would have done it when I had the opportunity, when I had big names reaching out to me, when I wasn't a target. That's what makes sense. None of the allegations or insinuations of allegations even make sense, but this is why I go so ham about, again, just proving that I've been doing this music thing for years. And then also too, now this discovery with Asperger's, I'm so grateful to have found this. It's like a blessing in disguise for me. And actually not even in disguise, just a straight up blessing. Anyway, so that's what was going on in that clip there. I didn't even mean to click on that video, but I'm glad I did so I could talk about that. Let me see how long this video is going because I don't want it to be too long. And this is really just a video with me providing evidence for you guys to back up what I talked about in my part 1 Asperger's / music connection video. So, let me just finish what I was saying though. Let me go back there because I did go off on a tangent when I clicked on that video by accident because it really gets me worked up. Here. Yeah, so I didn't mean to click on the video, but when I did, it just happened to be at that part, which is perfect because that's what I was trying to sign into my BandLab in the last video to show you guys. That South G Mob King guy. Oh, I didn't even finish showing you the rest of that part because of what I was saying in the video. Guys, my music and say I had an on-ding income. So I'm gonna post this. Then I'm gonna post. Excuse me, sorry, coming out of the messages. I'm gonna post this video when I get a different internet source. I can't post it from the internet source that I'm on. And then I'm gonna post my cheaper kills. And then had started creating so basically condensed into one. I'm for the allegation. I'm not gonna go into the detailed allegations through that were reaching out to me. Cool people had there 100. It is. Sorry. So I realized that part that I was showing you was the after part. But this is the guy's page. Like I said, you can see he has 8,000 followers, 41,000 plays. So again, not no huge celebrity, but he has some pull, you know, and I didn't even answer this man's message until recently this year. He wrote me all the way back in 2019. And I had many messages like that from different artists and people that had way more following than him. And I didn't really respond to it like that because I wasn't taking it seriously. I was focused on what I had going on at the time, which was substitute teaching, which was being a carrier for the post office, which was taking a full load of classes and doing security at night. You think I had time to sit there and do music? The only reason I'm doing it now is because I'm sitting here twiddling my thumbs being stared at all day. And it's a good release for me. So anyways, let me stop going off on a tangent. Rant done. That was like a little rant there that I didn't plan. That was an unplanned rant. Um, but anyways, guys, so do check out this summary. You know, if you don't have the time to watch my full story, but if you do have the time, please check out my full story because there are backdrop details that really I feel are essential to my whole overall story. You know, and a lot of the things I talk about in my recent videos, even the new allegation videos, pertain to the things in the backdrop story. So if you have the time, please check out my full story. Um, what else was I gonna say? And like I said, the full story I'm on camera. You know, the camera quality is not as good as my prior videos, but it's good. You can see me well enough and you can more importantly hear me well enough. Anyways, hopping into this video, guys, because I really literally just spent way more time on that introduction than what I planned to do. As a matter of fact, let me see how long this video is. Because I did not want this to be a long video at all. See, already 21 minutes in. I didn't want that, man. Anyway, that's okay. So like I said, this video is just me backing up, like I said, the things that I talked about in my part 1 video. So let me go to my pictures just for a reminder of the things I want to talk about. So first, let me just provide some evidence for you guys from that video. As a matter of fact, before I do that, let me share with you guys quickly a video from this lady that was diagnosed at the same age as me, age 31, with Asperger's. You know, you can look into this. It's easy, a Google search or YouTube if you care to. And you can see that most women are diagnosed later in life. And there are various reasons why that happens. I actually discussed it in the part 1 video. But for the most part, it's because women tend to mask. So we tend to hide what we're going through, basically, or we're able to camouflage and not really seem as odd or as awkward as men who have this ailment. And I don't want to say ailment. To me, I think it's a blessing in disguise. I really think it's a gift. But who have this disorder. I don't even want to call it a disorder. You know, I feel like it's, like I said, it's just this divergence. You're just different. It's a divergence from the norm. Anyway, so let me just, before I show you the evidence that I want to show you guys, let me just very quickly come in here and share a video with you guys. There's this checklist that this lady has, the same lady that I told you I found, this lady that was diagnosed at the same age as me, that I want to share with you guys. And then I also want to share with you a very short clip from another video she did where she's actually talking about autism and ADHD and the connection between the two. Because literally 2/3 of the people diagnosed with ADD have Asperger's. You know what 2/3 is? Let me just show y'all real quick. I know I don't have to show you. And I don't want you to think I'm insulting your intelligence, but just for the visual representation of what that means. This is 2/3. So 2/3 of people with ADD have Asperger's. Do you see what that looks like? That's most of the pie, right? And then they said in reverse, well, she said in her video, she's reading statistics, people with autism or who have Asperger's, 50% of them, she said 30 to 50% of them have ADD. So that's a large number as well, half of the pie. But look at me, I have ADD. You know, I was diagnosed, like I said, professionally in middle school. So I'm a part of those 2/3, right? Of those two pieces of pie. I'm a part of that percentage. Anyway, so I'm going to actually show you, before I show you the video with the checklist that she did, let me show you that part of her video. Her video that she did where she's talking about the connection between autism and ADHD. I'm not going to watch the whole video for the sake of time, but I am going to go to the part where she's talking about that percentage.
Signs of being autistic. So there's a but internally we're really struggling with these challenges of, let me look again, inattention, distractibility, and a poor working memory.
She's
I
talking
shared
about
this in my
ADD.
last video, but I thought this statistic was very eye-opening. According to some recent studies, 30 to 50% of autistic people also show signs of ADD or ADHD, and about 2/3 of people with ADD or ADHD also show signs of being autistic. So there's a huge overlap in these two areas. Now, as I jump into some of my own experience.
So if you guys would like, you can check out this video. As you can see, the title was Autism and ADHD in Women, 8 Areas of Frustration. If you're interested, this might not even be something that you're interested in, this content, because it might not relate to you. I'm literally just sharing this because this is a part of my story. But hopefully some of my viewers can find relativity with this. Maybe you have ADD, or maybe you have Asperger's, or maybe you have both and you never knew. And maybe seeing this might open or light a spark, and you might look into it and be like, so that's what's been going on with me. Because I think a lot of targets have Asperger's. From what I've seen, I don't know. To me, I feel that way. I think a good bit of people with people that are targeted are misunderstood. So anyways, that video, I just, like I said, wanted to show you that little clip. Let me go ahead over to her other video where she has the checklist. And again, remember that Asperger's is a spectrum, guys. So you're not necessarily going to have every symptom that's listed in a checklist or that's listed as symptoms. But for the most part, if you can relate to most of the things on the list, then likely you have Asperger's. One thing I can say that I don't have is meltdowns. As far as I know, as a target, I actually have had some meltdowns, but that's actually out of character for me. I don't typically have meltdowns. So that's actually, I can honestly say, not a symptom of mine's. The clothes texture thing, that's not a symptom of mine's. I mean, sometimes clothes can feel itchy to me, but that's not a symptom of mine's, So there are, of mine, I'm using bad grammar, not mine's, mine. So there are little, certain things that might not apply to you, but if you find yourself seeing relativity in most of the things being listed, if you find yourself checking off most of the things, then likely you have Asperger's. Sorry, guys, phone's moving kind of slow. I'm trying to come out of this and go into the checklist.
Autism can present itself socially, but females are naturally more social creatures, and so we learn how to abide by the rules in our social environment, and we can camouflage or mask. And honestly, that's part of the reason that females are so underdiagnosed. To mask or camouflage is to cover up how you would normally interact with someone else by taking on different characteristics that you notice other people are doing. So, for example, in situations where I'm talking to somebody that I'm not super familiar with, I don't like making eye contact. I can't actually hear the words that are being said when I make eye contact with someone.
Guys, the way I related to what she just said with the eye contact thing, I even remember with my first boyfriend, I think I talked about him in my full story. I'm not sure. But basically, I remember that was the thing I talked to him about, was the fact that I was having trouble looking him in the eyes. And I thought it was because I wasn't used to dating and he was my first boyfriend. But then later in life, I realized that was just something that was hard for me to maintain eye contact with people. You know what she said? It's hard to concentrate on what's being said. That's exactly how it feels. I couldn't have worded it better than she did. It's literally hard for me to focus on what's being said if I'm staring someone in the eyes because it feels so uncomfortable for me. So literally, I'll sometimes focus on like the eyebrow area, or I'll force myself, again, camouflaging, masking, to stare the person in the eyes. I've learned to do that. I can do that, but it does not feel good. It's an uncomfortable feeling for me, especially if it's somebody that I'm not comfortable with. But even now, with what's going on with my targeting, even with the people that I would typically be comfortable with, I'm having trouble with maintaining eye contact and even just conversation in general. I'm almost like a hermit now at this point.
Someone. So I find different places on the face to focus. That's not the eyes, but it still looks like I'm making eye contact. So I'm masking my desire to just be like looking off in the distance while I'm talking to someone, which actually helps me listen to you. And I'm trying to appear more socially normal by pretending like I'm making eye contact. That's an example of masking or camouflaging. What I want to do today, I recreated a chart that I found when I was in the process of getting my diagnosis that really opened my eyes to how autism can present differently in females. I think that this chart originally came from Rudy Simone in one of their books, and I'll put a link.
Now, holding on what she said, how it can present differently in females. So you don't always relate to every check on the checklist.
That in the
It's a
description.
spectrum.
This was originally posted on helpforaspergers.com, which is no longer an active site. But I love this chart. The only copy that I can find online is blurry and hard to read, and so I've reformatted it and made it colorful and shortened the descriptions a little bit so that it all fits in one kind of easy to digest page. And that's what I'm going to be reading off of today. But this did not originally come from me. It came from, I believe, Rudy Simone, and I'm just going to kind of add my tidbits to it as I walk you through it today. All right, so we're going to start over here under appearance and personal habits. So first of all, you might notice if you're an autistic female that you prefer to dress more comfortably. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't wear heels and that type of thing, but you might just naturally gravitate towards t-shirts or comfortable jeans or sensible shoes. You might.
So this is one of those ones that I can relate to when I was younger. Remember I told you guys I used to be a tomboy? I did not care about how I looked. I used to dress any old way, and I remember that being a joke when I was younger. And then when I got to high school and I started going through puberty and I wanted to date guys, that's when I started caring about how I looked, you know? Then I discovered that I like to dress nice. And even still in high school, I would still say this kind of applied to me. You know, it wasn't until I got into my 20s and really started getting into femininity and like being a woman that I started wanting to wear heels and dress nice and all this different glamour girl type stuff. But I wasn't always like that. But still, I would, just to be fair, say that this check mark doesn't apply to me. It applied to me when I was younger. Sorry for the long pause, guys. It's like, I don't know what's going on with my phone, but it's like taking forever to load up.
Spend less time on grooming and upkeep. I hate caring for my hair. Like, I remember in college, one of my roommates was like, why are you brushing your hair like that? Like, I just didn't know. You might have an eccentric personality and or appearance. You might come across as young for your age.
Check and check. I definitely have an eccentric personality, obviously. I'm an appearing young for my age, definitely. I'm always told that I don't look 31. Especially when I dress up and I'm out and about. You know, I don't look like my age.
And your preferences, your appearances, and your taste. I'm 32, and people still call me like sweetie, sugar, honey. I hate it, but I think I just come across as younger in a lot of ways. Autistic females are usually more expressive than autistic males, so that's one way that it appears that we might not be autistic to the outside world. It's like, oh, you're so expressive and social. But again, that can be part of the camouflaging and masking that I was talking about.
Now, mind you, that's called masking. And for me, I'm not even that social. Shoot, I'm a female and I'm not even that good at masking. I can appear that way a little bit, but I think I seem very awkward. You know, I can do these videos, but out in person, I'm so freaking awkward. It's ridiculous. So I don't even think I fall under the female category. I'm more so like the male a little bit. I think I'm like not as awkward as a male aspie. Not at all. You know, I do the masking thing, like I said. But I think I'm even probably more awkward than the typical high masking female.
And social. But again, that can be part of the camouflaging and masking that I was talking about earlier. You might also have androgynous tastes, but a feminine appearance. You might camouflage.
So when she's saying androgynous taste but a feminine appearance, she's talking about the fact that your style might be unisex, you know, androgyny. So it's like it's not necessarily looking masculine or feminine. That was me in high school and kind of, not high school, excuse me, middle school, elementary, and kind of high school. Like I said, in high school, I started to more so get into being like more so girly and wanting to look more so like a girl. But oh my gosh, if you go back to my younger years, I was a tomboy, either wearing unisex clothes or straight up just like dressing kind of like a guy, you know, like I was playing sports. I wouldn't say dressing like a guy, that's an overdue, but definitely androgynous, my style. So that's definitely a check mark for me. Not anymore though. Now that I'm older, I definitely dress more like a woman. But that is definitely a check mark for me in my younger years.
You might also have androgynous tastes, but a feminine appearance. You might camouflage socially, and you may lack a sense of personal identity. So for me, I realized whenever I would take personality tests and stuff, because I love taking those, it would always be.
What she's saying about the personality test? Recently, I took the personality test and I answered very candidly and honestly, and found out I'm an INTJ. So I didn't have any issues distinguishing between my own characteristics and those that I've picked up from people around me. But I do admit that the imitating and kind of like not having self identity is definitely a symptom that I can check off. You know, if you listen to my full story, you'll hear me talk about the fact that I was up under my older sister for years, to the point where people were calling me her tail, or I guess you could say her shadow. Like I had literally picked up her attributes and I was following in her footsteps, you could say. I mean, I guess that's typical of an older sister, younger sister type of relationship, but it was even more with me. It was a little bit more extensive. Like I was literally, you could say, kind of like not having my own identity when it came to that relationship. Even with my older cousin, the one that I told you, used to be kind of like our sister as well. And we were like the three musketeers. I even picked up a lot of attributes from her, and I did have self identity issues, especially in my younger years. Not really now that I'm older. I'm definitely coming into my own, or have come into my own. But when I was younger, that's definitely a check. A lot of these things pertain to me more so when I was younger than now, but quite a few of them pertain to me now.
Because I love taking those, it would always be kind of based off of maybe like the people I had been around most recently, or the latest movie I had seen or TV show, because I just had a hard time pinpointing who I exactly was, and I still do, because I naturally just kind of take on other people's characteristics so that I can camouflage. You might retreat into reading and or TV and movies. You might manage your stress with roles, discipline.
Shaq, can I check that a million times? Y'all, like, if I could live in my romance books, I would. Like, I am an avid reader, and not just romance novels either, but that's a definite check. And also, too, I like movies. Like, I really like to escape into science fiction or romance movies. I don't really watch romance movies anymore. It just feels awkward now with my targeting, but I definitely love sci-fi movies.
And routines, that is me. And you're probably happiest at home or other controlled environments. My happy place
Check,
is on my couch or in my bed under my wing
check, check.
my cats. Okay, let's hop over to intellect, education, and vocation. You might have been considered gifted, shy, or sensitive when young. My psychologist says let's replace.
So if you listen to my story, you'll hear me say that basically they found out I had ADD when I was younger. And I was one of those kids that they would always say had potential, because it's like I had a gift, as you can say. I don't want to say like a gift as in to say like I'm super special or anything like that. But you could see that I had potential, but I would struggle in school because of my disabilities. So this is where the gifted would come in for me. And actually, more so now that I'm older, I think I was able to hone in on my gifts, and actually focus in on being able to read and write really well. That's always been my gift, being a good writer, and actually a good I'm sorry, I'm hearing noise in the background. An avid reader and a good writer. And then also creative, like I said, art, not even just poetry either. I remember I think it was fourth grade, they had this art competition where we had to draw, like basically for the animal shelter. We had to draw a picture for the animal shelter. And I remember that I got second place. So yeah, check.
Psychologist says let's replace sensitive with responsive. You might have overt or covert learning deficits. I wrote covert on there. That was for me because
Overt learning deficit, ADD, definitely.
I feel like I have plenty of learning deficits, but my teachers were never aware of them because I hid them really well. Often musical or
So that wasn't the case for me. I wasn't able to hide mine, especially not in math class. They knew I had ADD through and through.
artistic deficits. I wrote covert on there. That was for me because I feel like I have plenty of learning deficits, but my teachers were never aware of them because I hid them really well. Often musical or artistic. I am a professional flute player and I love playing the piano. And as a hobby, I collect all of the instruments. I have a purple saxophone, a djembe, an ocarina, a guitar. I have a ukulele. I have a piccolo. Yeah, I don't know what system of counting I'm using.
Okay, so let me pause it there, guys, and actually show y'all some evidence. So yes, I collect as well, and I am definitely artistic. Obviously, right? Because I like to do poetry. I've done it my whole life, and then recently, like I said, and when I say recently, I mean like 2019, started actually recording and utilizing my voice as an instrument. But even before recording, I've always done freestyling. It's just never been anything that I had done professionally, where I was actually like going in the studio, or downloading studio type apps and recording. But I've always written poetry. You can check out my part one video to this video. So let me show y'all. I put together a video of my instruments, and I've had way more throughout the years, but these are the three that I have currently. Yeah, this is just my evidence video. Part two to my Asperger's slash music connection video. In this video, I'm just providing evidence for the things that I discussed in my part one, as well as for the test that I took. This is just some, I guess you could say, supporting evidence. So this is my trumpet from elementary school. I literally had this trumpet since sixth grade, no, seventh grade. Um, and I had another one before this one, but that one got destroyed. So I remember my seventh grade math teacher bought me this one, and I've had it ever since. You can see it's old. You can look at the case. Look at the case. I actually recently just found this trumpet, like, I want to say at the beginning of this year, in my mom's closet. And I didn't even know she still had it. So I was excited because I want to get it fixed so I can start playing it again. The only reason I stopped playing was because I think it's this middle one. This middle one is messed up. As you can see, it's literally jammed. And to me, it seems like the other ones are jammed now too, because it's been years that it's been sitting stagnant. But initially, my reason for stopping playing was because the middle one got messed up. And I never got it fixed. I just kind of put it away in the closet. That's one of my instruments. Then also I have a harmonica. And obviously, I'm sure you all, those of you that saw my videos that got deleted, I'm sure you saw my guitar in the background. Actually, on my page, if you scroll down, I think it's the third video that I have posted on my YouTube. My first videos, you can see my guitar. And this is not my first guitar. I've had many throughout the years. And I even had a piano too that I no longer have. And then obviously my voice is an instrument. I do poetry. So this is just more evidence of Asperger's, collecting instruments. And then, also, like I told you guys, I collect books. So I'm going to show you guys in the screen recording that I'm going to be making for my part two video. I'm going to show you the text message between my older sister and I, where we're discussing the big, huge box of books that I had in Tallahassee. And then also, in the part one video, I already showed you guys my Kindle, but I'll show the Kindle again in my part two video. But these are just two of the books that I that I still have. I have more. I don't know where they are, and then we just moved to, as you can see on the boxes. I still haven't even finished unpacking yet. But these are just two of the books that I have, physical books that I have in person. Anyways, talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out. All right, guys. So that's that. And to piggyback off of the book thing, because it's not necessarily just instruments. Just being artistic and musical is a symptom of Asperger's. Being creative, being into art, but then also just collecting things in general. So I was just showing y'all the instruments, and like I said, I've had many throughout the years. Those are just the three that I have now. But the main thing that I collect is books. That's my collection symptom. So you saw the two in that video. You saw my Kindle in the last video, the part one video. I'm going to show you the Kindle again, right? The Kindle, again, this doesn't even scratch the surface of how many books I had. So after I show you the Kindle, then I'm going to show you some texts that my older sister, and I had yesterday, where I was asking her about my box of books because I heard some noise campaign in the neighborhood, but of course the viewers don't really know me. Only the people in my close circle really know me. So when they do the noise campaign about certain things that are obviously symptomatic, this is where I'm like, damn, these people just don't know me. That's the point, and they're doing noise campaigns. about stuff they don't know. And I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm just saying. So So this is my library. Obviously, I showed you all this in my part 1 video. You see how many books I have in here, right? This, like I said, doesn't even scratch the surface of how many books I had, right? I even still have some of my physical books. Like I said, you saw 2 in that video clip that I just showed, right? But then also, let me show you the text between my older sister and I from yesterday. So I just tried to call her, and she said, "We'll call back on FaceTime with Daddy." She was on the FaceTime with my dad. And so I said, "Okay, just answer this text." I said, "Do you remember my box of books from Tallahassee that was in storage and got lost?" And she said, "I don't remember it getting lost. I remember you giving them away." And so I said, "That's what Tori said. I thought they got lost. I think I had 2 boxes, one that got lost and one that I gave away." And I said, "I remember you showing me those books, and that was not all of them. I had way more." So she said, "No, I showed you the books and you were shocked you had so many because you thought you had less and were trying to get us to throw them along with all the other stuff you had us holding. You were acting like you had a little bit of stuff when you was telling when we were telling you that your stuff was taking up storage space, and you kept telling us to just dump it, which was inconvenient for us." Okay, this is a bit of a TMI, guys, but which was inconvenient for us because it was so much. Then when you moved here to South Florida and saw how much you actually left with us, including all your old books, you were shocked. Then you dumped most of your stuff but kept your books and a few things, which you eventually gave away in all your moving, gave away or sold. I said, "I remember all of that, but I also remember that some of my books were missing, not because of you. I think they were left in Tally." And when I say Tally, I'm talking about Tallahassee. And she said, "Nope, Dudley," and Dudley is her husband's cousin, my brother-in-law's cousin. She said, "Nope, Dudley collected all of your stuff and you were shocked at all the books. It was definitely all of them." And I said, "I remember that, but I had thought I left some in Tally. Anyways, thanks for the confirmation about the books." And she said, "No, none were left and no problem." So you can see it was a lot of books, right? I was to the point where I even thought some were left back in Tally because I had so freaking many. I could have had a library with all the books I had. And the reason I was giving stuff away, if you listen to my full story, you'll hear me talk about the fact that when I was living in the Airbnbs, it was too hard for me to keep moving with all the stuff I had. So I started giving stuff away. I gave away half of my wardrobe. And then to boot, I also had old stuff in storage with my sister. And so I do remember the book thing, and I tried to keep those books, but I couldn't. I had too much stuff. So that was a moment of me, I guess you could say, trying to let go of baggage. And it was hard too because it was a lot of books. I had so many freaking books. It's crazy. Boxes. But anyway, so that's what I collect, books. I'm a collector of books. So that's another symptom of Asperger's, is collecting things. They say cars, trains, instruments. I collect books and instruments, but more so books. What else? I don't want to finish playing this checklist. Y'all can check out the rest if you want. It's like a bunch of checks, but I don't want this video to be too long. Let me look at how long the video is going. I'm going to share a little bit more of it. Let me see how long the video has, because obviously with that introduction in the beginning, it was longer than what I wanted it to be. So now I'm just like, I don't know. I initially had planned to play this whole checklist and give commentary, but now I think I'm not going to. I'm going to put the link to this video in the description box though. I mean, you can watch my videos and listen to my story and see that this is me. It's crazy how much this is me. But hold on, let me just see something. Ooh, yeah, getting too long. This video is way too long. I didn't want it to be this long. So that's about that with that video. But please check it out. Most of the marks that she mentioned in this checklist pertain to me. Like literally, almost every check, everything that she listed, almost everything, with the exception of a few, was a check for me on this checklist. What else did I want to show you guys? Guys, I pulled out all the stops. I'm always going to provide evidence. And when they do noise campaigns for certain things, it's like, I know I shouldn't be trying to prove myself to people, but it's like, I can't help it. It's like, I actually was doing this video for me, like I said, for documentation and for my viewers to get to know me. But then, of course, I have outside viewers as well. And so when noise campaign happens, when I'm doing these videos, I always feel like I have to go extra ham and prove myself. And so this is where I started digging and pulling out evidence, even though I think it's like painfully obvious that I have Asperger's. I don't know why they keep still trying to like do the noise campaigns and whatever. So now two of the things on the list I provided evidence for, right? Two things that they did noise campaign for. So this one, actually, they didn't do noise campaign for this one. This is just one that I found that I knew that I had evidence for that I said I would provide. The other one they did noise campaign for, and so I said, okay, I'm gonna pull out the evidence because the people in my close circle know that I write lists. You know, that's been a running joke in this family. So it's not that they don't know that, but like I said, remember with the noise campaigns and the gang stalking, you know, you have a bunch of different people watching you that don't really know you. So anyways, I keep my thoughts stacked in my memory like they're on filing cards, and I pick out the ones I need by looking through the stack and finding the right one. This was from the test, the live Asperger's test I took yesterday. And in that video, you can hear that I answered those questions candidly and honestly. You know, even ones that would have helped my case if I had answered yes. If it didn't pertain to me, you heard me give the commentary and purposely answer no, right? Several ones, several of them. So you can tell I answered those questions candidly and honestly. You know, that's why I also gave commentary as I answered them. So now this one, let me show y'all this song that I wrote called Memory. So you can see that I keep my thoughts stacked in my memory like they're on filing cards. This is a song I wrote on BandLab called Memories. And you can see it's from March 4th, right? Let me play it for you. Let me put the lyrics too. So you can see the, hold on, let me press play first. It's called Memories. No sense in walking down memory lane, cause what do you gain? Feeling the pain, and that feeling's ingrained deep inside your brain. What you walking down that path for? Why you make that nigga laugh for? Provided something you ain't asked for. Feeling stronger than the task force. It's just a memory. I keep neglecting me, just like telepathy. My memory, compartmentalized, divided in files. It's twisted, just like my old life never existed. It's just a memory. It's just a memory. Again, another song pertaining to the targeted individual experience, by the way, guys. But anyways, you can hear what I said, compartmentalized, divided in files. And also, this is yet another song where I have a different sound. This doesn't sound like my recent song 18, nor does it sound like my older song from 2019, ADHD. It's yet another sound again. So I'm just versatile when it comes to spitting this music. Okay, so the other evidence was another question. This one they actually did noise campaign for, and like I said, it's because they don't know me. Like I said, the people in my close circle know that I write lists. You know, it was even this joke when I met this guy from the church, you know, that I ended up dating back when I was still in college. My second time going back to college, 2000, when did I date him? I think it was 2019 self, that year. This was the guy I talked about in my prior videos that got deleted, you know, because they tried to play it like I'm somebody that likes to lead men on or whatever. And I was trying to tell them that I dated this guy that actually had eyes for other people, that I went to church with. This was the same guy. He had a problem, you know, like he had a wandering eye. And so then when I broke up with him, you know, I was trying to explain to them that I've even broken up with guys that have been the ones that had wandering eyes, you know, not just me having like, not that I had a wandering eye with my ex. That's what they took from the story. That's not what was happening. You know, I literally explained that situation. I'm not going to talk about it again right now. But with this guy from my church, he was the one that literally had a wandering eye. Like I was sitting in church with him, and I remember this girl got up to walk by, and my friend at that, you know, she was a friend of my sister's and I, and he's watching her walk by and breaking his neck watching her go out to church. I'm like, how disrespectful. We're sitting in church. You can't even keep your eyes straight. And he consistently had that problem, and I broke up with him also. So I'm just like that, you know. I with relationships and stuff, if I see a problem, I cut it off. That's just how I am, and that's a part of having INTJ personality type. But with that same guy, that guy that I told that story about, oh, by the way, I was right to break up with him because then he got with a girl after me and had a baby on her, and she still married him too. But that's to tell you that was something good foresight on my part. So I just have good foresight when it comes to relationships. Not always, but oftentimes. But anyways, with that guy though, he wrote lists like me. And so I remember my sisters were laughing at the fact that we both wrote lists, right? And I didn't even know that that was an Asperger syndrome. So when I saw that as one of the main symptoms of Asperger's, I was like, nah, there's no denying that I have this thing, right? But anyways, yesterday when I was taking the test live on camera with you guys, when that part came on, I heard noise campaign. And I'm like, who doing noise campaign? Because I know the people in my close circle know for sure that I've written lists my whole life, right? So this morning, when I was listening to the video, I heard noise campaign again when that part came on. So I said, you know what? I'm going to dig in my emails. I could have just called my sister and confirmed like I always do. But I said, I actually know that I have tangible evidence because I've been writing lists for years. I said, let me go in my emails because I used to email lists to myself. And so I took some screenshots of those lists. Old list to y'all. Old list, man. And I have way more than this. This is just what I'm showing you, right? So you can see this list is from 2018, right? You see that? 2018? April 2018. It says list of things to do / get please Yahweh. And please Yahweh just means if the Most High spares my life. It's just an OCD for me to write please Yahweh. I've always been that way. So it says get a primary care doctor and get a full checkup, get a holistic doctor, get a dermatologist for skin, discolored chin. This is like personal stuff, but like get a dentist, get teeth whitened, get braces with pink bands, absolutely no alcohol, not even wine, no juice, drink only water, no red meat unless it's a feast day. Halal, when I say feast day, that's like the Hebrew Israelite feast day. No chicken, fish can be eaten anytime, wild caught. This is because when I was into holistic health and stuff, just making lists, man. This is from 2018, right? Then I had another one from 2018. List of things to do. Same thing. That one was the same list. It looks like I sent it to myself twice. This one, improve self list. Follow gym schedule. Drink semi-gallon of water daily. Take organic minerals and vitamins such as vitamin C, D3, selenium, etc. Order Dr. Sabi clean out kit and diet. Get juicer. Be vegetarian, which means no meat, no eggs, only fish, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, right? But you can see that I've been writing lists, right? For years, and way more extensive lists than this. This is, again, just what I'm showing you, what I was able to find in my emails, right? This is another list, right? You can see it's a photo. It's from 2016, right? And so then I clicked on the photo and I took a screenshot of the photo. Physical list that I wrote, right? Again, you can see things to get done, please Yahweh. Steel boned long line bust-in corset, uneasy bounce trainer device, jump trainer, agility training, braces, nice new clothes, new silver watch, nice lipstick, nice hair, stupid shit, man. This is embarrassing, but this is the type of stuff I do. I write lists, okay? You can see it for yourself, right? I write lists. So then to further prove it, I even have a folder in one of my older emails, the email I created from high school, not even high school, I created this email in elementary. It's called Island Cutie, my Island Cutie 91. That's like the first email I've ever had. In that email, I have a folder that I created years ago with a bunch of different emails that compile a list. So these emails are a part of a list. That whole folder is a list, just so you know. I took a screenshot of it. You can see Cure playlist, Snapchat, YouTube, Healing Liver playlist, a one-stop, that's the video, I don't know why that's there. List of things to get done / to do. You could see that was in the playlist. Get hair growth supplements in the playlist. Ezekiel 18:21, live righteously, that's in the playlist. Get teeth whitened, that's in the playlist. This is embarrassing stuff, guys, but I'm just trying to show you I've written lists for years or created lists. I know this looks weird, but again, Asperger's. What else? Pheromone attraction spray. Get rid of dark circles. And the dark circle thing was the alcohol, by the way. This was around the time you can see 2015, 2016. This was around that time when I told you I was a blackout drunk. Silver Crucian bracelet. Silver bracelet with amethyst. Remember I told y'all my sister and I used amethyst to get rid of radiation and stuff. Water gallon, please Yahweh. Get braces. Fast from 6 p.m. every day to 6 p.m. Saturday. Coffee enema routine. This is embarrassing stuff, but I don't mind sharing it. Jog for an hour and take 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Get steel-boned underbreast corset. O3, which is a form of oxygenated water. O3, a form of oxygenated water. Good example of my writing skills. I was even, putting an example of my writing skills. Health tip info, sulfur, O3. These are all health things. Health tip info. Remember I told you I was like a health nut back in the day. So around that time I was into grounding and holistic health and water that doesn't have fluoride in it and things of that nature. So that's what the O3 thing was. O3. Health tip info, health tip info, health tip info, health tip info. I was a health nut. I was really into holistic health back then. So that's to tell y'all, like, I write lists, and that's one of the main symptoms of Asperger's. And I never knew that, I always knew that my sisters would laugh at me, like, oh boy, review her list. But it helped me to keep organized, and I just knew that it was like this innate urge to write lists. And I didn't know that that was a part of Asperger's. What else? I think I had more evidence in here. No, I think that was about it, guys. I think that was about it. So I'm definitely fully Asperger's. There's no denying it. I don't even know why at this point. It's this weird thing, but I thought I attributed it to me having. I thought they were doing it just because I'm a target, because you know how they like to paint you as a liar in this program. So I figured that's why they were doing that, just to discredit me. And also too, because if they accept this Asperger's thing, then they have to validate my writing. They have to validate my music. And so I think that's why they try to refute it, and not refute it like they're straight up coming to me and saying you're lying. You know how it works with the noise campaigns. It's weird. So anyways, I think that's what I thought was going on. But then as I started looking at videos of women, I saw that same girl that I was showing you, the Asperger mom. Actually, let me show you a short from her on YouTube. But she was talking about the fact that often happens to women, that we're invalidated when we say that we have Asperger's. So it's not just a me thing, apparently. Anyways, let me show you this video, this short from her. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Oh, by the way, she got diagnosed at 31 too. But there are a lot of women that get diagnosed even later in life. You're blessed if you get diagnosed in your 30s. There are a lot of women that don't get diagnosed until like 60, 70, those ages, sometimes 50.
You might be wondering if it's okay to self-diagnose as an autistic adult. Getting diagnosed as an adult has a lot of challenges. It can be expensive, it can be confusing, and worst of all, it can be really hard to find somebody who actually knows how to diagnose autistic adults. I was 31 years old when I first thought I might be on the spectrum. I took all the tests, I did all the research, and I knew that I knew that I knew that I was autistic. That alone was so comforting to me. But I could tell that to the people that meant the most to me, a professional diagnosis would go a long way. I ended up getting a professional diagnosis, and I'm really glad I did. But if you find yourself wondering if a self-diagnosis is enough, I'm here to tell you, it is. If it's enough for you to make you feel seen and validated, then it's enough. There are definitely some benefits to getting a professional diagnosis. It can give you more clarity, it can offer more resources, more sources of support. But in the autistic community that I've seen and gotten to know, a self-diagnosis is well respected. It seems to be one of those things, if you know, you know. You might be wondering if it's
All
okay
right, y'all. So if I know, I know, and that's funny too, because if y'all listen to about the stimuli, with that schizophrenia video, then y'all know the joke with the no thing. But really, if you know, you know, and I know. And it's obviously something she said that's validated in the community. They look at self-diagnosis as accurate, because typically when you self-diagnose yourself, you're actually doing the correct diagnosis, because you're taking the test, you know yourself better than anyone else does, and you can see the relativity between what's being said as the symptoms and your own personal self. But I know enough evidence to prove that I have Asperger's. Not that I should have had to do that, but I did. So anyways, I'll talk to you on the next one. That's what this video was. It was just a part 2. This one just me now. Again, just providing commentary, but then also providing evidence to back up that last video. Anyways, I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace out.